With the release of the DJI Mini 4 Pro in September 2023, I'm sure many owners of the Mini 3 Pro, like me, ask themselves, do I need to upgrade? Well, if the main motivation was to get a better camera, I'm going to take a very unique approach to help you decide, so don't go away. Hey guys, Mike here and welcome back to the channel. When the DJI Mini 4 Pro came out in September last year, a little more than a year later after the Mini 3 Pro and less than a year after the Mini 3, many owners of these drones, including me, started asking themselves if they needed to upgrade. Certainly, if you're an owner of the Mini 2, which at that stage would have been 3 years old, you may have seriously been considering it if you hadn't already been tempted by the Mini 3 Pro, like I was. So in this video, we're not going to talk about all of the differences between the drones. We're going to focus on the camera and the pictures you can get from it to help you decide if it's worth upgrading from the Mini 2 to either the Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro or Mini 4 Pro, or if you have the Mini 3 or Mini 3 Pro, is it worth upgrading to the Mini 4 Pro? Is it just me or are there too many mini models to choose from? Mini models. Anyway, there's the DJI Mavic Mini, the Mini SE, the Mini 2, the Mini 2 SE, the Mini 3, the Mini 3 Pro, and the Mini 4. I had the Mini 2 and in May 2022, too many twos.
2 for 22, New Zealand. It's 2 for 222.
In May 2020, a couple of years ago, I traded the Mini 2 for the Mini 3 Pro, and my first flight almost lasted for about 10 seconds. Link to that disastrous start with my new drone in the description below. Anyway, in terms of specs, I'm not going to get uber technical here. There are other videos that have covered that really well. In reality, there was quite a jump from the Mini 2 to the Mini 3 Pro, in particular with a much larger sensor, which allowed you to capture more detailed images and much better performance in low light in terms of more detail and less noise. But when it comes to the Mini 4 Pro versus the Mini 3 Pro, the leap, well, no, that's not right. The jump, no, really wasn't there either. The tweak, yeah, that's probably a little bit more of an accurate description. DJI were able to squeeze a little bit more capability from the Mini 4 Pro camera, but with an identically sized sensor, same same megapixel count, maximum resolution and bitrate. The upgrades that were made really don't make this camera realistically that much better. However, some would argue that the camera on the Mini 4 Pro versus the Mini 3 Pro does feature an improved dynamic range. Now, I don't have a Mini 4 Pro, so I can't speak from experience, but Billy Kyle does a great explanation in this video he posted late last year. I'll add a link in the description below. Anyway, at the risk of being swept away with a desire of having the latest and greatest drone, do you really need it? Now, part of the answer to that question stems from another question. What do you use it for? So I'll share my thoughts and reasoning, and maybe it'll help you work through the same question. After using these drones for several years now, starting with the DJI Spark that came out in 2017, I've found that what I use the drone for has changed over time. Now, obviously, I use it to get videos and pictures of the surrounding area, landmark, family, holiday destinations, myself. But in recent times, although I still do capture video, I have found that more and more I use it to take pictures. And given the social media influenced world we live in, I use it to take pictures that I can share on social media, the majority of which is just private accounts that just include friends and family. I'm going to throw up some images that came out wrong. I'm going to show you some images that I've taken with either the Mini 2 or Mini 3, which also may help you decide if you think you want to upgrade. Now, given the Mini 3 Pro came out almost 2 years after the Mini 2 and the camera got a significant upgrade, see if you can pick which images came from the Mini 2 versus the Mini 3 Pro. I'll reveal the results a little bit later. So as the technology improved, particularly in terms of the sensor size of the camera, the step up in terms of what the drones were capable of capturing by way of images was amazing, especially when the Mini 2 came along in 2022. Since then, a raft of other enhancements have been added as new models of drones have been released, such as HDR, or the ability to capture high dynamic range images, panorama capability, and now being able to capture raw images, which has really given both amateur and professional content creators and photographers a very wide scope to not only get creative with their image capturing, but also to give them much more power in post-production, to be able to enhance and edit their images even more. The introduction of the Mini 2 really saw the dawn of a new age of aerial photography using small consumer level drones and really took a lot of professionals by surprise. The image quality that it was capable of achieving, in the opinion of many of these professionals, really even rivaled the capability of many higher end and much more expensive drones at the time, even causing many of these people to announce that the Mini 2 was going to be their go-to drone for everything except super high-end jobs. Now, I'm neither a professional or someone involved in high-end jobs for photography or advertising or anything like that, but without being too biased, if that's possible, I think many of the images I've captured are not too bad, especially given the main purpose I use them for is for my own records and social media posts to friends and family. As for which ones came from the Mini 2 versus the Mini 3 Pro, I'll throw them back on screen quickly now, so get ready to pause the video if you want to take a closer look. Now as we go through, also bear in mind that none of these images are raw or DNG files. They're all JPEG files exported in as small a file size as I could with the purpose to upload to social media. And also this video that you're watching is a 1080p video that's also been through compression algorithms YouTube use before it goes live. Now, I have edited these pictures. None of these you've seen are straight out of the drone. However, I do that with all my pictures I take, even with my phone. I typically adjust the shadows and highlights, maybe tweak the saturation a little bit. In some cases, play around with a hue of one or two of the colors, and I'm also a bit of a sucker for a vignette. Now, I either edit on my phone or on my laptop, and I mainly use Adobe Lightroom, but the free apps I have on my phone do a pretty decent job as well. I often use a laptop, mainly so I can see a bigger image on the laptop screen versus a phone screen, and that's because I'm getting old and my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. So all up, I reckon they aren't too bad, and if I'm perfectly honest, if I didn't know which ones came from the Mini 2 versus the Mini 3 Pro, I'm not entirely sure that I'd be able to pick them out myself. So for me, wondering if I should upgrade to the latest and greatest in mini drone technology, the Mini 4 Pro, I have to ask myself the same question that I asked you. What do I use it for? Well, you've seen what I use it for. The next question is, for me, and for you, is my situation likely to change in the near future in terms of what I'm going to be using the drone for? Am I intending to do more high-end work or paid jobs or anything like that? That would require me to use larger, more capable and also more expensive equipment in order to get the results I needed. Now, obviously I can't answer that for your situation, but as for me, the answer is no. I still intend to take the drone with me when I'm out and about or traveling and try to capture unique perspectives and some cool shots, or bangers, as I think they used to be called a couple of years ago. And since that's the case, then in my scenario, I really have no need to move at this stage to the Mini 4 Pro. And if I'm honest, looking at these photos, I kind of have to ask if I should have moved from the Mini 2. Now, don't get me wrong, the Mini 3 Pro is a great drone and I absolutely love it. But if I'm honest, I probably got swept up in the thrill of getting the latest drone. Part of me thinking that having the newest tech will mean the videos and photos I take with it will be so much better. And to be fair, I guess that's what companies like DJI want you to think and feel. So think about what you use your drone for, whichever one you have, the Mini 2 or any of the Minis all the way up to the Mini 4 Pro. In terms of more recent releases in the Mini series, if you have the Mini 3 or Mini 3 Pro and are thinking of moving to the Mini 4 Pro mainly because of the camera, then I'd say don't do it. If you have a Mini 2, SE or Mavic Mini, then you'll probably get a decent bump if you move up. Or you could rewind and have a look at some of the images I posted and think again. But if you are looking to move from an older generation drone in the DJI Mini series to the Mini 4 Pro for other reasons, then maybe you've got a reasonable case, because there are definitely some other performance bumps that make it a little harder to say no. I'll share my thoughts on that scenario in a video very soon. In the meantime, don't forget to check out my first ill-conceived flight of the Mini 3 Pro right here. Thanks guys, I appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.